Hello everyone out there too, this is me, Blame Others, and we are here today to talk about some more Paladins. And with us today we
As
have
always,
again...
me and Same Spiral.
So, as if any of you have seen the previous videos before, you know that one of the main talking points we always like to bring up is Ying. So this isn't just going to be a Ying video. Again, the other one was for that. However, this is another ideas video for possible changes. And with the release of Corvus recently, it let me come up with another idea. So I've already run this idea past Spiral, and he's heard it. So hopefully, telling you guys will be able to see what you think about it. So, when I came up with this idea, I was trying not to step on too many other characters' toes, because with the release of Corvus, a lot of the ideas I've thought of are pretty well and done. However, this is the idea I come up with. So, one of the things we complain about Ying is that she doesn't feel like she can really get out healing without putting herself in danger, or unless there's so much communication between your allies. Basically, unless you're top tier play, unless you're playing top tier, you're not gonna stay alive as a Ying unless you're stomping your enemies anyways. Because you should be very easy to kill unless people are babysitting you hard, and again, it all comes down to how aware your team is gonna really be on any given moment. So, in order to give her some proactive ability to stay alive, I thought about this. Her weakest ability in her kit right now is her shatter. Her shatter does nothing for her. You don't want to shatter your clones because that means your clones aren't healing, and even when you do shatter them, and even if you do hit them, the damage is pretty pitiful. And it has damage fall off depending on where they actually got hit from the center, so it doesn't particularly matter. So, this is the idea I thought. So, take off her shatter, completely replace her ability. I don't have a name for the ability, I just call it Shard. Mirror Shard. So, what she does is, she's now, again, somewhat similar to Corvus, she's now capable of handing someone a mirror shard. That mirror shard doesn't do anything in her base kit other than mark this person to allow them to be teleported. Now, again, during her ultimate, which again is a whole nother issue, but during her ultimate, she's capable of teleporting to whoever she wants while they're being healed. However, like, it was never particularly explained why she's able to do that. It makes sense why she can do that with her clones, because, you know, she's kind of just sliding to her clones, but it kind of never made sense how or why she was capable of healing everyone, especially when she can't see them, and then she can teleport to them. It's kind of weird. So, again, this will play in a little later, but I think that giving someone a shard means that, A, you know, you have a piece of a mirror on you. I have the ability to use, you know, make some kind of mirror illusion magic, so I thought it makes sense. So what do you think about that, Mr. Bro? Just from the basis right there, because that's kind of like the basis for everything else right now, Mr. Bro.
Yeah, that's fine.
Obviously, too, skins can obviously, like, do neat little designs on the mirrors, or, you know, it doesn't have to be like a mirror shard per se. Maybe it could be like some kind of like little pocket mirror or something that someone can have on them, and skins could obviously give them neat little different icons and such. Da 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 da. You know, Squirrel.
Yeah.
You know, maybe like as maybe like in her genie skin, you give them a little lamp instead of a mirror, something, Mr. Pro. You know.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
So then we follow up with that. Again, her F stays exactly the same, other than the fact that she is now able to actively target another person besides her clones. Because more than likely a clone is going to be in a position you don't want to be, because your clone has to be in a position where it's able to heal people during a fight. So is that what you really want to teleport to? No, you probably want to teleport to your fucking Kinessa sitting up in the back away from everybody else. Then we come to the clones. Again, completely unchanged. There's nothing changed about the clones. Again, if you want changes on the clones or changes for ideas for that, that's in the other video. Then we come to the ultimate. So again, this is more so for flavor than it is anything else. It kind of doesn't make sense how she's able to teleport to people, and the fact that she's, capable of hitting anyone no matter where they are. This is the way I thought about it. Just, again, for thematic sake, when you ult, you actively throw other people a mirror, or maybe you can say they activate a mirror that you give them on the person, whatever the case may be, right? However thematically you want to do it. But more gameplay-wise, it just makes it more apparent that, hey, this person is being healed right now, right? And because he's being healed, their Ying can pop up to this person, right, Mr. Pro?
Yeah.
Like, again, if they all have a lamp over their head, or like a little lamp symbol, whatever the case may be. Oh, this is the Ying teleported right behind them, right, Mr. Pro?
Right.
So that's just more so for that. Otherwise, no changes. Again, with the talent, maybe the ult might finally be changed a little bit, but we'll see about that when we come to the new talents and stuff. So, laser talent, we come to talents. Her laser talent, again, completely untouched. It does what it does. It does what it does good. Fine, whatever, done. Then we come to I actually can't remember the name of it right now. No, the explosion one.
Well, you might as well just cover lifelink first, because you said you're not changing that one either.
Well, no, that's the one that is being changed. So resonance will stay the same. That's the other one I wasn't going to change. Resonance stays the same, because now that Ying doesn't have an explosion, fucking explosions inherently built into her kit, and because you never wanted to explode them anyways, now it makes sense why that talent should exist in the first place. In fact, now that she doesn't have that in her kit now, maybe it makes more sense for when she detonates them, maybe she gets a little bit of healing from them. Maybe they can take out the card that gives you healing for shattering and then just put it into the talent itself too. Or something like that, so she can have a little self-sustain while being aggressive, Something. They could tweak that around, but otherwise, as of right now, I just want to leave that the same. I just wanted to point out that now that she won't have that useless feature in her kit, it makes more sense that feature is in a talent, because she can't normally do that otherwise. Right, Mr. Pro?
Yeah.
So, then we come to the main crux. So, Life Exchange I've had a problem with because, again, when it was actually good and it was really strong, Ying had another talent she could do with healing.
Lifelike.
Yeah, which was lifelike. But that's of course gone. Then they stayed with that one, but of course that one was an issue because, again, higher skilled people, and I don't mind balancing for higher skilled people, but when it's like, does it really, like, even at the top tier players, are there really that many Ying players or that many dedicated Ying players? It's like, to really have to bounce around that. That's why they added the second edition to the thing, so it could be properly nerfed, and then it kind of just fell off the face of the world anyways. Again, except for the highest tiers of play, and people mostly run focusing lens now for us normal people. And then the healing changes came out, which also reduced that burst heal, which was again the only reason you're gonna use it, by another 100. Which again just makes it, well, there's no fucking point in running that now. I can literally just shoot for more damage at that point instead of trying to just heal. So yeah, I haven't liked that talent at all. Like, if I ever have to play Ying, or just on the off chance I feel like playing Ying, I'm just gonna use Focusing Lens. Life Exchange just feels so terrible to use. Then we go to the new talent. So this is what I'm gonna change it to a new talent. They can keep the name. They can keep the name the same. I don't think the names particularly matter. But so this is what I want to change it to. Because again she doesn't have a shatter anymore. So now instead your shard will give out a burst heal, not a ticking heal. So not like Jenos' heal. Again, I'm not trying to step on toes, but two, tick heals in general are just kind of not that great if you just have to completely rely on tick heals. Again, we're gonna come to this later. Oh yes, we're gonna come to this later, and Sproul's gonna enjoy that. Um, but so instead, to keep it somewhat balanced, especially in relation to things like Grover heal and other things like that, just to kind of keep it in the same ballpark. Every second, and that means the second, when the second ticks over, you get 175 health per second. So 175 health for you, 175 health for you, 175 health for you, 175 health. So over the duration of say 5 seconds, without the, which is what you would normally have without maxing out like the cooldown card, which again is another thing I hate about having to run life exchange, forcing you to have to max out that card, or you're not going to do anything. But this is at base, you have a 5-second cooldown, so over that 5 seconds, you would still, again, potentially heal 875 instead of the 700 you normally be getting, which means it's a little bit of a boost without being busted. And it still requires a bit of thought because you have to at least wait a little bit for that heal and don't get the full burst right away. But it's still actively burst healing.
Yeah.
However, this will also, again, play into the ultimate. This is why I said earlier, the ult might actually see a nerf a little bit if they ever did something like this talent. Because, again, what did I say earlier? Everyone you ult will now gain a shard or a mirror, again, however thematically you want to play it. They'll gain that for themselves. Which means if they have that, shouldn't they also be being healed by your shard talent? Which again isn't much extra health if we're being real here. Especially because people should be buying Cauterize anyway, so at that point, that much Cauterize in a full team fight shouldn't make that much of a difference because they should be getting picks and being smart. So again, this is kind of that high level thing again. But I'm saying even in general, if people are at least somewhat buying Cauterize, this should not be a huge difference. So what do you think, Mr. Poole? Because you haven't talked a little bit.
I mean, yeah, that's fine. Like, going to the whole tick heal thing, you're right, it doesn't do anything. That's why I don't particularly like Corvus, especially as the tank guy. I get he gets a burst at the end, but it's like 1 small tick, 2 small tick, burst. And by the time you get that burst, it's not enough. You were already dead because ticking is bad, really. So you do want to be able to give your heroes bursts of healing, because most of the time, especially if you're a tank, you're gonna be focus fired, and ticking just doesn't cut it. So you'll want to be giving them bursts.
So if you want to think about it like this too, it's kind of like a level 1 kill to heal that you just have on passively, kind of. You know, it's not like that great a difference, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, anything else you want to say about the idea, Mr. Pro? Again, we already went over the Ying problem in general. We thought of like more, radical healing changes in the other videos. So
no, I mean, it all comes back to like all the ideas are great, and like I get, and we'll just bring it up quick, but I won't harp on it. The only reason why they haven't changed Ying is because of her ultimate, and we had a lot of back and forth. Like, originally, way back in the alpha, which I didn't play, she apparently had a crystal which could be put down and it shoots enemies, and I'm like, well, if the only thing stopping her from being reworked is this ult bot, this just, press X to heal everyone, then we got to get rid of the ults and maybe bring the crystals back. But then, well, if they're just stationary, they're not going to do anything. They're not going to shoot anyone. If you attach the crystal for a second, like Vivian's flying disc thing, well, how overpowered would that be? So then we went back to the healing. But it is really, all the little changes are great for Ying, but really the one thing that needs to be really dug into to give her that full rework is her ultimate. But like your idea for now is fine, but it still is just the press X to heal everyone, and that's the reason why she's not been reworked, because all of her numbers, because that's why they don't rework her, because they look at it and say, oh look, she's getting the highest numbers. All of her numbers come from her ultimate, so that's the main issue. But yeah, everything else, it's fine, it's great.
Mm-hmm. So again, that's some more Ying for all of you Ying mains out there. However, then we come to the next bit. And the next bit is another person who's been having lots of struggles, which is we're Video Flick. So another person who's been having struggles is Sproul's favorite character in the game, Jenos. Hamid Pro.
Yeah. Jenos.
So the problem with Jenos is this. He, again, similar to Ying, in the highest levels of play for the longest time, has been a bit of a problem because, again, when you have your team, doing everything perfectly, at least in most cases, like, I mean above average, like, let's even just say 60-40% of the time, doing everything that they're supposed to be doing like they're supposed to, with someone like Jenos, can be a very frustrating experience for the enemy team. And it's because of this. Jenos is a very, very passive healer. Not in the same way as Grover. Because Grover requires you to be... it requires you to be in a certain... You have to be in a certain range of somebody, and you have to be positioned in a way that you have to still be able to somewhat connect with everybody as much as you can. So it can still put you in an awkward situation to try and really be efficient with Grover.
But Grover has
also another limitation with Grover is his weapon is really, really bad when people try to aggress on you. Whereas Jenos has had one of the best support guns since his release. So
that comes down to healers with damage.
So again, you see, I told you guys we're gonna have a lot of fun with Swirl when we talk about Jenos.
And the other thing with Grover, if we're just moving away from Grover, he's got two heals. He's got the passive ring, but even if you're like getting a bit low with the passive ring, he can use Rampant Blossom and give you that extra push. So he's got two heals. Jenos only got the one.
Well, like I was saying, it's again, you were trying. I was just saying when I said passive healer as when talking about Jenos. But what I really mean by passive healer is, again, not like Grover, because Grover does have a healing passive. When I mean he's a passive healer, I mean that he is meant to be played very, very safely. Because he is the only healer that can actively, right now, heal through walls. And when I mean he's the only one who can actively heal that, Ceres, when she links to you, will heal you as long as she keeps healing the chain going after she's locked onto somebody. She doesn't have to keep line of sight for that anymore. There was a time when she needed to keep line of sight, and oh boy, was that also not fun. What was I gonna say? Grover can heal through walls, but again, he's a very, very tick kind of base god, and God, why did I say God? He's in Smite, but no. Very tick-based support here in Paladins. Who, again, if he wants to like actively do stuff anyways, he does have to peek really hard, and he's a very big target. So he still has to be more, again, he has to be more proactive than Jenos. And while Pip and Grover's and while Pika and Grok's healing can go through walls, it's like, are you gonna really get that many healing, that much healing through walls? I don't think so. Furious has to be targeted. Technically, Corvuses can also heal through walls, but you need an insight target in order to heal the person with your mark through through walls. It's a bit redundant, for being honest. It's basically like Furious, more or less. So you have to have line of sight. Dambas, you have to have line of sight in order to right click somebody, and you gotta again. So the one who really actively heals through walls like really efficiently has been only Jenos. So again, because he has healing through walls, and I'm just kind of giving all this backstory and all this detail and all this comparison because again, even right now, I don't hate Jenos. I want to like playing Jenos because he has a very nice kit. So that's why I'm giving all this backstory, and because again, in the highest levels of play, he is still a very popular pick. So, again, just giving all the backstory to give some information so when we go through these changes. So, one of the big changes they did a long time ago from Jenos was the fact that they changed his Stellar Wind. Originally, his Stellar Wind was a pure toggle with like a half-second lockout because every ability has a half-second lockout when you're firing abilities. So the way it worked was he would be able to toggle on and off, and he would have basically the same, more or less the same effects he has right now. However, when he gained his new talent, which was the binary star, it created a weird little animation glitch where he was able to toggle shoot, and basically force stop his gun animation, meaning he wasn't locked into actually shooting. So what they eventually did was they gave him a 2-second cooldown of Stellar Wind, which really hampers his flow when trying to do like more aggressive plays. So of course, if his really aggressive plays are hampered, what are people going to do with him? They're just going to sit in the back and be as passive as they passively can be. Which is what people hate, and which is why they just recently, in the Corvus patch, gave him a nerf to his card range, which reduced his range of his healing whenever he ups it whenever he levels it up in his cards. Which, by the way, I've played. And oh boy, does it not feel nice when you're trying to really actively heal and your ass has to be that close to heal through walls. You might as well just wait until someone comes into line of sight and just keep shooting anyways. So, and I don't want them to keep reducing the cards because Jenos was really card reliant. So I don't feel like that's good. So again, my first change was this, because this will all play into everything at the end. Make Stellar Wind go down from 2-second cooldown down to 1 second. It shouldn't be 2 seconds for the simple fact that it just feels so awkward to try and run away. What's that? You're away. Okay, I have a second. Let me fucking reload so I can have a chance to reload. And oh no, they're still following me. They're hard chasing me. Oh no, I gotta wait like another 3/4 of a second before my dash is back up, and it's just so frustrating. So please do that back. Again, we'll still play in later. So, but then we're gonna follow that up with we're actually just gonna follow straight into talents at that point. Because again, everything else in the base kit I don't want to change. I don't want to change his gun. Don't want to change his mark. Don't want to change the ult. Any cooldowns on anything in particular, not yet anyways. All that gone. All that the same. Then we come into talents. He has his Void Grip talent, which is the Power Cosmium. The Power Cosmium has become a bit of a favorite for a lot of people for the simple fact that it gives you very reliable CC, and if you're able to get the full duration off, does decent damage to help peel enemies. Because whenever you use any of your abilities, you're locked out of shooting. Which is again, a way to keep him balanced because he has a good gun, but can be very, very frustrating when you want to help your team finish off this person and all you can do is use ability damage, and ability damage doesn't apply cauterize. It's, again, tick damage and not weapon damage that can head when you can headshot, and Jenos is really good with headshots, and da-da-da-da-da. So, it's become a bit of a favorite right now. People are complaining about it. I'm not complaining about it. I like it. I don't want it to change.
You know why everybody's complaining about it? Because he goes kill crazy. Healer needs to fucking heal, not go kill crazy. I need you sticking green magic up my ass, not being over there fucking shooting somebody. If you're over there shooting somebody, you're not sticking green magic up my ass. That's why nobody likes Jenos, because A, he sucks at fucking healing, which I'll get into later after you're done. And then B, not only does he suck at healing, but when you need him to heal you, he's not around because he's too busy being over there trying to be a flanker or trying to be a damage because he's like, oh, look at me. I've got Scorpion Grip. Scorpion Grip, shoot him. Scorpion Grip, shoot him. I can play whatever that fucking talent's called, Palindrome. I can play Palindrome talent and I can go kill crazy and shoot everybody. So everybody's like, can we nerf this? Can we stop the Jenos from going kill crazy? He needs to be healing, not shooting. Can we nerf it just so that he is less likely to go kill crazy?
No. Well, one, it's called the Power Cosmium. I don't know how you got Palindrome at all there. Secondly, that's not because people. That's not the reason why people want to nerf it. People want to nerf it because, again, it is a very hard CC. The fact when you play the talent, you gain a cripple instead of just a basic root, like you do in his normal kit. So you either have to sit there and wait 3 seconds for this thing to wear off, or you have to buy resilience, and you're wasting credits on resilience at that point. So it's like, well, either I do that, or I have to be forced to do this, or else I can't get out. So that's why people want to do it. And again, if anyone is half smart, they should hopefully follow up on that. But again, for the longest time, it's been there for the longest time. But
why is he going off on his own and doing it? If he was doing it to tanks, where he should be near the point to heal the tanks and heal the backline. You don't, because
wait. Let me finish. You don't want, and I'll just explain to you real quick. You don't want to do it on tanks because it doesn't do enough damage to bother tanks. It's meant to stop flankers. That's the reason why people complain about it, because it's so good at stopping flankers. But like I was saying before I got interrupted, the reason it only recently got populated right now because flankers have been coming back a lot recently. And again, the Power Cosmium is one of the best ways to help deal with flankers. People like Maeve, people like Andro, people like I don't even know who else. Even if someone likes to play Talus, it's a decent way of dealing with Talus. Eevee. Always nice to grab an Eevee out of the air when she's trying to blink around or fly around on her broom. Or her staff, rather.
But you're talking about a good Jenos that actually kind of like sits in the back. And if they see a flank, they're like, oh god, it's coming towards me. Grab him. We're talking about 90% of Jenos that won't sit where they're supposed to sit and just grab when the flank is coming. They will actively walk away from the fight and follow the flanker into the back lines and be like, no, I can be the damage. I can be the one that can go off and grab people. And it's like, no, that grab is for when somebody is coming towards you. You need to sit there and keep your team alive. And if Maeve is jumping towards you, if Eevee is flying towards you, you grab them and the back line can shoot them. Not you go walking off wherever the hell you please just to fucking shoot people. We need you here, Mr. Healer. So like, well, I get what it's for, but that's
we're taking too long here. I want to get
Jenos.
Through the explanations. It's taking too long. I want to get through the explanations. Taking way too long.
It's not taking too long.
So, again, I didn't want the changes, but these are the changes I came up with, because now we got to speed this thing up because it's taking way too long. So, the talent gives you 480 normally. bonus damage. I just say take it down to 360, which is what it normally does, so it's just like literally just double damage. 360 instead of 360 480. You can take the duration down to 2 seconds instead of 2.5 seconds. Again, I always felt like half a second extra is kind of awkward, which will speed up the damage, but again helps reduce that feeling of just being stuck in the air forever. But in exchange, maybe reduce his base cooldown to 10 seconds, just so that if that's the case, well, at least his base one is a little slightly bit better. Then again, try to hurry up now. Luminary, no, sorry, not Luminary. Binary Star, its effect would have to go, and Luminary effect would take its place, because again, Luminary is going to become something else. So in order to replace Binary Star, I thought about this. So Luminary's passive would change over to Binary Star, just be named Binary Star, but the effect would be applied as such. Enemies hit by your weapon take an extra 50% weapon damage. Now, depending on how strong this is, or depending on how they just want to word it right off the bat, if it might be a little too weak or a little too strong, because right now it's not particularly that strong, but let's just say, so after you hit them, you can add, it can either just be from the allies or from also including yourself, would just be however they want to word it. However, so Binary Star would more or less become Luminary, but instead of marking people with your heals for bonus damage, you have to be a bit more proactive and shoot people for that bonus damage.
No! That's fucking terrible!
But you don't have to be the one applying the damage, you just have to mark them. You can sit all the way in the back before spell start complaining because it's taking too long. That you can just mark somebody
to be even more kill crazy.
You can just mark somebody by hitting them once, and the duration can be for like 2 or 3 seconds after marking, similar to Cauterize. But again, this is for like an armor breaking kind of deal, which is why I thought it was fine for including onto his weapon. So again, the weapon is the marker instead of his heal, because his heal should be healing focused, not damage focused. So then we come to the actual changes for his healing. So before Luminary was here, I don't remember the name of the thing right now. I'm trying to hurry because it's much longer than I wanted it to be. I don't remember what the original talent was called, but it's what's in his base kit right now, where it would deal a bonus heal, and it would deal bonus healing based on the person's health, based on the person's total health, and that's what made it a really good heal in back in the day. Then of course it got nerfed because it was too strong, and he was being too strong. Then they came out with new talents, which is where Luminary came. Luminary was obviously really, really strong because it gave you more damage. It gave anyone you're healing more damage. Wow, I'm gonna do that. And because of that, some of his cards got nerfed. Eventually, Luminary itself got nerfed, so it only applied to your allies and not to you. And then, of course, eventually the extra talent was taken out. Which was put into his base kit. And that's the way he's been for the longest time. Then, yes, of course, the healing traits came out. He took a little bit of a hit. I don't remember exactly how much he did. I'm not going to bother looking up right now. However, it was a bit, not much, but it was still a bit for him, considering, again, he is a very passive healer who has to actively sit in the back, and his heals are long duration based heals. So, in order to somewhat bring back a more healing focused playstyle for him, especially as someone who is supposed to be really passive, but yet, doesn't really get to do anything, even if he is being really passive. He just kind of just sits in the back, not doing anything, hoping his whole team will do everything for him. So, again, this is to help his healing. I don't know where I was going with that. I got a little confused. I just want to hurry up. The main point of this is to give him some more healing. Right now, if you get off his full duration of healing, including the bonus healing from his passive, he will heal you for 2100 healing. So my thought was this: make Luminary's talent be When you, at the end of your heal, or upon refreshing your astral mark, at the end of or when refreshing your astral mark, you heal an additional 300 health. Now, at the end of a heal, it may not be all that much. It may not even particularly matter. However, it is just something nice, and it definitely helps bring up his healing a bit without, interfering with his other aspects. So, or making him do something different or awkward. So, but upon refresh means it's much more proactive, because it means you can be much more focused on maybe healing your tanks. But your tanks, of course, need bigger healing. If you're going to be really focusing on your tank, they don't care about your 100 healing a second every second for 10 seconds. No one cares. So that's why I want to give him this little boost. Again, somewhat similar to Ying, just give them that little bit of extra where people are gonna be able to really feel it. Because I've been in plenty of matches where I can see the Jenos healing me. I can see the mark. I can see the green little pluses. But it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter when I'm in a fight. Even at Cauterize 1, it just doesn't particularly matter after that initial heal. So, again, that's my idea for Jenos. Anything to do this? Anything to wrap it up, Mr. Pro?
Yeah. So, like, I hate Jenos because he goes kill crazy and he doesn't have the heals. And yes, increase the heals. That'd be fantastic, please. Because right now, if you pick a Jenos, you just lose. You lose. You can't heal. There's no healing. And what would be nice, because after Mega Suck update, can you please rebuff Rejuvenation to at least give the tanks something? Because after nerf shields, nerfed healing, and nerfed Rejuvenation, it feels crap to play a tank. And you know what's worse? Feeling crap to play as a tank because of nerfed shields, nerfed healing, and nerfed Rejuvenation, and then having a Jenos on your team that can't fucking heal you. So give him more heals so that he stops going kill crazy, and please give Rejuvenate some percentage back so that, tanks can actually stay alive, and it actually encourages people to play tanks. Because when you play a tank and you see a Jenos pop up on your team, you're like, well, that's it. Put the keyboard down, walk away, we lost, because Jenos here ain't gonna heal for shit.
So yeah, today those were our ideas. This is Sporo showing his love for Jenos. I think Jenos went and took, might have just taken like 25 minutes there, just for trying to get through Jenos. However, I really feel nice about the little Ying changes again. If you haven't seen it before, there's another video completely with like 2 or 3 other different Ying ideas to try and make her more interesting to play while still keeping her very viable and very competitive even at the higher tiers of play. But this is also too, again, something to give Jenos a bit more flexibility and a bit more less of a feel like a bit of a less of a nuisance while still feeling very, very active even at lower levels of play where he does not feel like he's a very, very proactive teammate. So yeah, this has been me, Blame Others, and of course there's Mr.
Me, Insane Spiral.
So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.